All right, guys. So I'm a little bit tired of people thinking that catering in 2025 is still the way to go to make 10, 15, $20,000 in the food business, when the way to go is definitely to have a private chef business, not a personal chef business, not a catering business, but a private chef business. And today I'll give you 5 reasons on why running a private chef business is actually the way to go and why it's actually simpler. Simpler doesn't mean that it's easier, it's in fact harder, but the reward is much bigger. Now, what is a private chef business? What's the difference between a private chef business and a catering business or personal chef business? Is that a private chef business, you're only going to work with 1 or 2 people full time at the same time. That's it. Okay. And those people, they're going to hire you yearly and you're not going to have to look for other clients. Okay. So technically, you find one client and you can be good for the rest of your life. Well, versus when you're running a catering business, well, you always have to look after really, really big events with really, really small margins. And when you're running a personal chef business, you always have to look for 50 to 100 clients every single month, and doing the same thing again at the end of the first month, and then doing the same thing again at the end of the first year. And then you're always looking and consistently chasing clients instead of just enjoying having one client at a time and working for them full time, full year round. Okay, so let's get right into it. I am going to hide the 4 first reasons, and we're going to start with the first one. Let's get into it. All right, so we've got 5 reasons. Each letter stands for each reason, and I'm going to hide them until we go through each of them, right? So the first one is clients. Why clients? As I mentioned before, when you're going to run a catering business, when you're going to run a personal chef business, you're going to need to always look for more clients. And something also that you might not want to do is to build this level of retention where every single month, at the end of the month, you need to get maybe like 20 to 25% of your clients to rebuy from you the next month. And guess what is going to happen at the end of the second month? Well, half of the people that bought on the month one, they're not going to buy again just because of the nature of your business. Some people, they're just not going to want to have this type of exclusive events every single month inside of their house. Same when you're running a catering business, when you're doing wedding and when you're doing a birthday. A birthday once a year. A wedding is once in a lifetime, okay? Maybe a little bit more for some people, but you got the point. When you're running your own private chef business, you don't have to deal with this. This is what I mentioned to you in the beginning. You more than likely going to need only one person for the rest of your life. And guess what? It's much easier to find somebody to pay you 10K a month every single month for the rest of your life, that finding like 20, 30, 50, 100 clients every single month, every single year consistently with your personal chef slash catering business. This is tiring. This is extremely consuming, and we don't want this to happen. All right. So we're good with the point number one. We're going to go to the point number two that pretty much each one leads into the other. It's budget. What happens when you work with those type of people is when you're organizing an event, when you're having those one night type of event. Well, people, especially in 2025, they're being really picky with how much money they actually spend. They don't want to spend too much money. They want to make sure that if they're organizing a big event, the food is literally going to be the thing that they're going to try to save the most money on. Okay, if we give the example of a wedding, they're going to spend a bunch of money on pictures. They're going to spend a bunch of money on the location. They're going to spend a bunch of money on flowers. They're going to spend a bunch of money on alcohol. And then the leftover, the $2,000 for like 300 people, it's for the food. And you're like, what the fuck is this? I mean, forgive my French, right? I didn't get into a private chefing or into running my own food business to have to look at like how much I spend on food. I want to work for a family where if I spend $1,000 for 4 people in a single week, they're fine with this. I'm not saying I'm going to do that all the time, but and I mean $1,000 for 4 people. It's when you look at it, especially in the United States, it's not even that much. So yes, I've had experiences where I'll be paid to drive to go on a trip for 2 hours to look for a specific sausage for $15. I'll be paid $150, $75 an hour to drive literally for 2 hours and get and take a piece of sausage that will cook with an octopus. Okay, so this is what you want. Even if you don't get paid, I mean, this is the type of client that you want. Okay, I mean, maybe not getting paid for 2 hours trip and buying a $15 sausage, but you want to have people that don't really bother for like $100. All right, so budget, we got it. Point number three is volume. Again, that each leads to another. Volume. This is inevitable when you're running a catering business. Okay, when you're working for 100 people at the same time, the same way that you're going to be limited because of the budget, you're going to be limited by people's restriction. Again, we are in 2025. Do the research on ChatGPT, but how many people became gluten fucking free? Forget, I mean, nothing wrong for those people, right? But gluten free, vegan, vegetarian, and intolerant to lactose and all that stuff. It's like there's so many people. Today, out of 100 people, there'll be maybe like 25 or 30 of them that wouldn't be able to eat this. And again, like if you're working for 100 people at the same time, more than likely, you want to make sure that you don't go too crazy because you need to fulfill, you need to produce results. It's a wedding, it's a birthday, everybody is happy, and there's so much pressure on you that like you cannot just like go out in the weeds and invent stuff. Well, guess what happens when you work for a family of four? You can invent every night. Okay, if you quote unquote fuck up on the one night, they like, I mean, tomorrow just do like bolognese pasta and you'll be good, and then you'll try something again next week, right? So you don't want to have to deal with volume. Maybe some of you will be like, oh dude, but like I don't want to work for like two people or like three people, but like you can work for a family with like five, six, seven, 8 people. I feel like the sweet spot for me, it's like 6 people. Okay, 6 people is really, really good. All right, so we got volume. Point number four, logistic, my friends. Logistic, my chef friends. It's all right, we're back, guys. Logistics. When you're going to work with 100 people at the same time for a specific event, guess what happens? You've got a ton of staff that you need to take care of. And your staff, they represent your business. And those people, they don't work full time for you. So there is not the same level of care that somebody that will work full time for your business or even yourself. And guess what happened? They represent your business not the best way, and that completely tank the reputation of your business. Guess what also happened when you have to manage so many people at the same time? Well, one day someone is sick, the other day someone doesn't come because they went out last night, the other day it's because their cat died, and you have to deal with all that kind of stuff. And at the end of the performance, you have to pay all of them. I don't want to deal with this shit. Okay. Some people might tell you, "Oh yes, but if I'm a private chef, I'm the one that do the dishes. I've been doing the dishes for 7 years, and you know what? Like, it sucks. But you know what sucks more? It's to like get paid 20 grand for an event and make like 2 grand in profit. Okay, this sucks more than doing the dish. When I do the dish, and sometimes I'm like fuck, I'm doing the dish. Then I'm like, well, I'm getting paid $75 to clean the plate, so I'm better cleaning it really, really well. Okay, so logistic, we don't want that. We better do the dish for $70 an hour. Last one is profit. That's what I told you just before. What is going to happen with those people is that they are going to look at everything, okay? Every single little thing. Even if you're working for wealthy people, when you're working like for events, they're going to organize a birthday or a wedding, they're going to want to limit the cost on something. You don't want this to happen. You don't want like a 10, 15, 20, maybe a 25 with the catering business, more than a restaurant. A restaurant is like 10% profit. But with a catering business, maybe 20 to 25% profit margin. We don't want this. When you run your own private chef business, you've got literally nothing to pay. I mean, aside from your own tools that can be paid by the client, by the way, I'm never going to charge them to buy like my knives and my chef jackets and everything. But like, for stuff that will stay in the house, especially if like you're full time, you know that you're going to stay there for the next 5 years, make them buy because they'll pay for it. Okay, so you don't wanna have to deal with so much loss. Okay, so yes, guys, 5 really stupid reasons to become a private chef and let go of catering and 50 clients a month and having to build a retention system and working with staff members that don't go to work because you don't pay them enough and that prefer to go and party with your friend. We don't want this, and that's the reason why we're building private chef businesses. I'll see you in the other video. Bye-bye.